Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I have a calling to do a reading for the US dollar um, for the current situation, and I did the shooting arrow spread. This spread is for explaining the forward momentum and the actions that will be taken towards the goals. Um, so it is a new spread, and I apologize if it is kind of confusing when I explain that. Hopefully, hopefully I can let you understand what is going on. So first of all, let me explain the position of this spread. The first card is Ten of Wands, which is about the release. And the second card is the World, which represents the intention. The third card, High Priestess, it represents the action. The fourth card, Two of Wands, it represents the goal, the objective. And the fifth card, Three of Cups, it is about the helpful situation. And finally, that will be the community support, which is the Sun card in the spread. So the method I do this read will be I will explain the card and then I will bring up a supplementary card for each card to explain further about the situation. Because I personally, I do not always watch news. I just occasionally watch news. So I I have to be very humble about the situation that I don't have all the actual information on my hand. So I have to make use of the supplementary cards to explain further. First of all, without further ado, let us talk about the release. So what is the US dollars trying to release right now? Ten of Wands. What is Ten of Wands? Ten of Wands is about the obligation and the burden and the pressure. You see, this person is carrying 10 wands at once by themselves. Well, even though we might say, hey, there are other people, other countries that are supporting, but regardless of the actual situation, the person themselves, they feel the burden on themselves and not being considered, not being helped, feeling kind of bearing all the obligations alone. So this is what the US dollar wants to release, is to release the obligation, release the pressure. So what is about this Ten of Wands? Six of Swords. When the Ten of Wands is about Six of Swords, that means the Six of Swords energy is causing the burden. What is Six of Swords? Six of Swords is about, again, obligation, moral obligation. So for the US dollars, what are the moral obligations? So first of all, what I can think about is it is a reserved currency for some countries. I don't know if I don't know who is using US dollar as reserved currency, but there are quite a lot, I think. And when it is a reserved currency, of course, there will be obligations and, all those kind of things that come with the status. Secondly, when I see Six of Swords, you see this person, they are not alone. They are with the other people on the same boat with the swords. So this can mean immigrations. And also, it can also be related to military. Why? Because the US has a lot of, you know, military bases on a lot of boundaries and countries. So the US dollar, it wants to release the burdens. And the burdens, they are about the obligations that the currency actually holds. I think for people who watch this video, I expect you to be, sort of know quite a bit about currency, and probably you know more than I know. You know a lot more than I do, okay? So I believe that you're able to fit in the situation. What are the obligations? What are the burdens of the US dollars? So I don't want to extend too far beyond my knowledge about the obligations, but what I can say is, yes, the US dollar is intending to release the burdens. So, and then let's talk about the intention of the US dollar at this moment. So that's the world card. The world card is the ending card of the major arcana. So that means completion, completing a cycle. At the same time, there can be still a sense of wanting to dominate a situation, because the world card is, as you can see in this picture, the person is surrounded by a circle, and then out of the circle, you can see the ego, you can see the human head, the animals. You know, this is about the center. This is about the center of the world. So the intention, although there is the intention of completing a situation and wrapping up a situation, but at the same time, it wants to stay in a dominant position. You see, this is the intention. So the intention is very clear. Part of it is about wrapping up, and then the other part of it is about staying on top of the game. And for the world card, Ace of Pentacles is the supplementary card for the world, which means the beginning of prosperity, new ways of manifesting wealth. So the intention is to still create wealth, and also on a world stage, not just by themselves, but on a world stage. So I do see the ambition here. The ambition is very clear. It is about creating wealth on a world stage. But I have to emphasize that this is about new ways of making money. So it's not about the old, okay? So the old ways of making money, generating wealth, is coming to an end. And the intention is to bring in new forms, new ways to generate wealth. Then, let's talk about the High Priestess. It is about the action of the US dollar. High Priestess, usually, this means wisdom. And this is also related to secrecy, discussions behind doors. But whenever High Priestess appear, we don't know what is happening behind the doors. I have to emphasize this. Because the High Priestess energy, it is an energy that advocates some form of secrecy because they have the sacred knowledge about a situation that might be beyond our understanding, beyond our capability to understand. So they feel like, okay, curtains up, let's discuss behind doors. Because, all those folks out there, they're not gonna know. They're not gonna understand. If we let this out, it's just gonna cause chaos. Let us talk behind the doors, behind the curtains. The supplementary card for High Priestess is about Ace of Swords. Behind doors, clarity is gained. Clarity is shared. So there will be discussions behind doors that will bring clarity about the situation. Does it mean clarity for us? I don't think so. But for the parties involved, they will have the clarity and they will know what to do. But for the general public, no, we're not gonna know. And then Two of Wands. It is about the goal, the objective, the target. The targets of the US dollar is Two of Wands. What is Two of Wands? Two of Wands, when we look at it, we see this person holding the earth on their hands. So this person, US dollar, is figuring out a choice, is in the process of contemplation. They are looking at the world and the world situation and trying to figure out a way, a decision to be at the top of the game. And the intention is still about having the influence around the globe, as this person is holding the earth on their hands. So they're not gonna let go. They have the power to make the choice. And there is no rush. Because Two of Wands energy is not about rushing towards a goal, towards achieving something. It is about making careful decision, being very considerate about the global situation, and they don't mind to wait. And the supplementary card for Two of Wands is about Queen of Pentacles. So even though the US dollar has the intention to still be internationally influential, at the same time, there's the intention to achieve self-sufficiency. Because Queen of Pentacles is about energy that is being self-sufficient, creating the environment and circumstances which bring safety for abundance and prosperity. The Queen of Pentacles doesn't care too much about the others. They care about their own ability to generate wealth and be content within their own boundaries. They're not trying to be aggressive. They just want to take care of themselves well and be able to be well by themselves and not being so affected by the outer world. So this is the goal of the US dollar because it feels like right now it feels like things happening on a global level affects the currency too much. So the currency itself, it wants to have the security and to be secured once again and not being so, you know, in fluctuation because of the outer circumstances. So this is the goal of US dollar at the moment. Also, it is about creating the ecosystem to generate wealth. Um, and as you can see, Queen of Pentacles, there are rivers, there are mountains, there are, well, you know what? I just hear gunshot. So, you know, military actions, firearms, military productions. We also see animals and, you know, kind of like agricultural sense in this Queen of Pentacles picture. So, there is a sense of integrating the natural resources with the sense of generating profit and wealth with the US dollar. So, as I mentioned earlier, the release is about the Ten of Wands and also Six of Swords. So, currently, the US dollar is really involved in an overseas level, but the goal is to be more focusing towards themselves, but not too much overseas actions. You see, at least this is the goal. They want to be self-sufficient. They don't want to be overly involved overseas situations. And then now let's move forward to the next card, which is Three of Cups. Three of Cups is about the helpful situation. So what is being helpful? Three of Cups is about celebrations. It's about three sides coming together. So the first thing come to my mind is about an alliance that involved at least three sides. So they come together because they celebrate each other's common value and common good. They have a common ground, which they feel like, okay, let's work this out. So this is helpful. So I believe that there will be closed door discussions with other countries that are believing in the same value system, and then they will work together to sort things out, and they will be very helpful towards each other at the same time. And the supplementary card for Three of Cups is about Six of Pentacles. So you can see in Six of Pentacles, in this picture, one person is giving the other two assistance. In this case, the food and whatever, money and resources. So there will be alliance that will be formed in this situation. And one of them will be the, the more powerful one, and then they will be acting like such a giver. So is it mutually benefit? Maybe not really, but there's still a relationship over there, because the Six of Pentacles, it represents someone who is in a leadership position, someone who is in dominant position, giving the other two assistances. So this actually still strengthens the more powerful one. But is it an equal relationship? It depends how you see it. Maybe monetarily, not really, but there is still a relationship, because the weaker ones, they have to rely on the bigger one. So you may say that's not a healthy relationship, but it is a relationship. It is still a relationship, okay? And because the two weaker ones, they have limitations. There are things that they actually cannot do. So they definitely have to rely on the bigger one to provide them. You see what I mean? So this kind of giving and receiving situation is actually helpful to the US dollar. So I believe that there is a deal, there will be a deal that will be made behind closed door. But I know it's kind of meaningless to say this because we all know everything is behind closed door, right? What I want to say is the helpful situation is because the US dollar is able to help. If it is not the US dollar, there might be other situations that there will be a helpful situation going on. So the US dollar is being supported. Collaborations, I do see that is happening, and that will actually happen. But I have to emphasize the fact that Six of Pentacles is not about equal relationship. Okay, the sense of reciprocating is not in a direct equal way. Okay, and then let's talk about the Sun card, which is the community support in this case. So the community support is actually very blessed because the Sun card is one of the most blessed card in the deck. And it is about blessings, it is about power, it is about clarity, and definitely growth. As you can see, the flowers, they are flourishing because of the sunlight. And there's a baby on a horse. The baby represents something new, something brand new that is growing and being supported by a white horse. So, you know what, the white horse? I forgot the term, but there's a word about a situation that is kind of problematic, but once the white knight, once the white knight comes over, then the situation turns around, even though it feels very problematic. But because of the white knight, things turn around for the better. So the Sun card can represent a blessing because there is help and partnership. So for the Sun card, the supplementary card is about Five of Wands. What is Five of Wands? It is about different people, different parties, they come together, but at the same time, they have all their own concerns that they care about because they have their unique situation, and it's difficult to to gain a common ground among these people or countries involved. Um, so what I'm thinking is for the community support, definitely Sun Card is very blessed. It's about clarity, partnership, it's about something good. But at the same time, it is related to Five of Wands. So the blessings and the clarity and the good comes with certain levels of conflicts. In this case, I feel like for earlier because we saw the Three of Cups. So at the beginning, behind closed doors, there will be three countries or three sides. They come together and they make a deal, and then afterwards, more countries, more support will come into the picture. But at the same time, it comes with a situation where conflicting values have to be dealt with. So, the Sun card comes with conflicts, but I believe that they will try to work out the conflicts. Because Five of Wands, the good side is being creative. Even though they have different perspectives, but they come together. There is a reason for them to come together, even though they seems like they are fighting against each other, but they still come together. They still fight with each other because they see the value to have a relationship with each other. So they feel like, okay, let's lay the cards on the table. Let's argue. Let's brainstorm. Let's talk about it. Let's fight about it, and then we'll figure it out. Um, some people will say, "Hey, Five of Wands is only about conflicts," but this is conflicts with reasons and with, you know, they they come together to argue with each other because all of them, they have some problems to solve, and they acknowledge the fact that they can't rely on themselves to solve the problems. They have to come together even though they're not seeing eye to each other, but they still come together because it is just the way it is. It has to be dealt with each other, not just one party, one country, one person. No, they have to come together. So, Five of Wands, even though there are conflicts, even though there are problems to be resolved, and sometimes it can be kind of intense, but I still see that as a good sign because it is it is about the clarity, and that there will be the clarity for the US dollar to you know to maintain the status in the forward momentum. So for the Five of Wands, this supplementary card is about whether the Five of Wands will work out or not, which is also related to the Sun card. Knight of Wands, it is about experimenting, trying something, initiating something, but it doesn't mean it's totally gonna be successful. In the process of experimenting, there must be something that is possible to fail. and there must be something that is possible to be okay. So there is no guarantee at this moment. But will that work out? I would say some things will work out, some things will not work out. If there are components of the US dollar that are that are really experimentative, is there a word like that? If they want to experiment something, there is a possibility that they take the risk and then it works out. But it is very risky because nobody did that before. And I just heard a motorbike sound, and it's gonna be like it's gonna be intense. It's gonna make a lot of noise also, okay? So something will work out and it makes a lot of noise for the US dollar, okay? But as I mentioned, Knight of Wands, they are very good at initiating, but it's not necessarily easy for them to complete their goals because the intention of Knight of Wands is about trying it out and being willing to experiment. Do they really care about the results? Maybe they care, but they accept the fact that some things will turn out fine, and some things, if they don't turn out fine, it's still okay. Because that's the price of experiments. So, because of this reason, because of the nature of Knight of Wands, I believe that there will be things that will work out, and there will be things that that are not gonna work out. So, because of this, I asked about, will the Knight of Wands, what will work out in regards to this energy, and what will not work out. So here comes the left-hand side Judgment card. Is about things that will work out. Things that will not work out is the Six of Swords. So the irony is Six of Swords at the beginning of the entire reading. It is about the Ten of Wands energy, is about the pressure that the US dollar wants to release. But in this case, I don't think the US dollar will release what it wants to release because the burden will stay there. And the Judgment card is about revival. You see the angel at the top of the picture. They are announcing something. And then they have a lot of followers down there. And Judgment is about the rebirth. And what's gonna work out is about the rebirth of US dollars. So they will rebirth, they will be reborn, and then they make the announcement, and then everybody's like having the enlightenment, and also the announcement will be very influential towards the world, and it will bring changes and transitions for the better. So what I can think about is some structures, economic structures or monetary structures that are rotten, that are no longer productive and profitable, they will be gone. And those are related to the US dollars. And the US dollar, there will be an announcement that will affect the global economy, the global monetary situation. That will be the announcement. and there will be the revival of the US dollar. Some form. I'm not sure what form will that be, but expect major announcement. And the judgment card is also about, the angel above the world. They are above the world. So if the US dollar is wanting to remain in dominance, they will, because of the revival. Because they have the attempt to revive the currency. But at the same time, I feel like because they want to remain in a dominant position, and there is the price to pay, which is they cannot release the burden. And what I can think about is it is military related, immigration related, something overseas. They will still be in the picture of the US dollar, even though the US dollar itself wants to be more focusing on themselves, but the obligations will stay there, especially when dealing with foreign countries, foreign relations, overseas relations. Um, you know, that's the dilemma of the US dollar. Because in order to remain dominance and in a dominant position, there is always the price to be paid. And at the end of the day, I don't know whether it is a choice or it is something that is destined to happen. The US dollar will still be holding the position to, to support something overseas and to, at the same time gaining the support by the others. So I think that this dilemma will be addressed eventually, and the currency itself will acknowledge the fact that if it wants to remain in a dominant position, work has to be done. It's not gonna come as a free lunch. So whoever manages the US dollar, they will make the decision to, still support the global situations, still be involved. Because eventually they see the value. They know, yes, even though they don't want to be so, don't want to be having so much pressure from the outside, but because they are striving towards the dominance, so they will accept the obligations, accept the pressure, and then still do their work and, be good at it. So let's come back to the Knight of Wands energy. So at the last part of this reading, I asked about what will be the short-term consequence and also the influence of the Knight of Wands energy, and also what will be the long-term consequence. So the left will be the short-term, the right will be the long-term. Short-term consequence is Six of Cups. And long-term consequence is Queen of Swords. So in the short term, Six of Cups, it is about assistance, giving, being generous. As I mentioned earlier, there's a helpful situation that is happening or that will happen in regards to the US dollar. And it is about Three of Cups, Six of Pentacles, and the short-term consequence is Six of Cups. So I feel like there will be the assistance involving the US dollar. I intuitively think there will be monetary policies that the US dollar will be supporting some other countries. So yeah, this will be the short-term consequence. And this kind of generosity, I believe that it is related to, wanting to promote the US dollar. It's kind of like marketing. Marketing for the US dollars. And there are strategies involved. And at the same time, Six of Cups energy is about the good side is about being generous, and the people who needs help, they will get the help from. For now, they will get the help. But the long-term consequence is Queen of Swords. What is Queen of Swords? It is about the clarity. The clarity after experiencing obstacles and problems in lives. Because Queen of Swords energy, if that's a person, that person is widowed and they have been through a lot of problems in their lives. And at the end of the day, they became laser focused on their objectives, on their targets. They are determined to do things in the right way, according to their own terms. And they will, by the time they turn into Queen of Swords, they have been through a lot of lessons that failed. So at the end of the day, they become very tough and become very clear about what they want to do, what they don't want to do. And there's not much room for negotiation for the Queen of Swords. So either you are on the same team with the Queen of Swords or you're not on the same team. So what I can get as a conclusion is, for the US dollar at this moment, some burdens they really want to release, but there's the intention to remain dominance in the world. There will be secret meetings behind doors. There will be deals that are being made. At first, the alliance will be smaller, and then they will expand to a larger scale. And then when the larger scale is formed, there will be more conflicts, but at the same time, they will bring out something new, something experimental, and they will not be able to release the obligations they want to release, especially related to overseas. So the good thing is they will revive, the US dollar will revive, the status will revive. The not so good thing is they're not able to give up the obligations because of still wanting to remain as the dominance. And I believe that in this process, there will be some kind of promotions or marketing techniques that will be involving, being generous to some kind of situations, some countries, in order to form the alliance. And then in the long run, some of the alliance will work, some of them will not work. So there will be some lessons to be learned because of the Five of Wands energy. Even though they come together, there is still conflicts. And I believe that those conflicts, in the long run, they will have problems. So when these problems happen, we can see some, some members were pulling out because fundamentally they have difference in opinions. So, and at the end, the Queen of Swords energy is about, getting rid of all the crap, and the direction is to be very precise about what they are doing, and also minimizing the room for negotiation in the long run. So at the long-term future, the US dollar or the situation of the US dollar will be consolidated and very in a very strict manner. They have all the rules to play the game in the future. They will have all the rules in place. So whoever wants to involve, they have to honor all the rules. And they have to be very clear about the guidelines. Because Queen of Swords energy is not about negotiation. It is about having the authority to exercise their power. And because they've learned their lessons in a hard way. So the rules will be harsh for some people or maybe some parties involved. But there will be always the support from whoever that actually follows and accept the guidelines. But it will be very straightforward and it will be very strong. And I have to say it again, there will be not much room for negotiation in the long run because in the process of the rebirth of the US currency, there will be situations where they experiment and then something fall apart and then they learn a lesson and then eventually they will set the rules straightforward and be very precise and being laser focused. I don't see generosity in the long run. At the beginning, yes. In the long run, no. it will be very clear. So I think this is everything I get from this reading. Um, and I believe that things will come to light, definitely come to light about the US dollar. And we might not have all the clarity we are seeking for, but we will have a lot of clarity coming up. So this is the read for the US dollar currently, and I hope you enjoy this read. If you like this read, please consider liking the video and subscribing. I really appreciate your participation, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.